Hi, everybody. Hey, I'm all alone here, aren't I? We got to wish Sharon to get well soon. She's out with a flu bug, so she'll be back next week. And but we still got a really good show here. All right, so without much ado, here we're going to get rolling with it. As you can see, I've got an empty chair. Well, I kind of got a empty chair with Sasha mouthing my arm. But anyway, so the reason there's an empty chair is, well, we're featuring Gracie, and in order to feature Gracie, Rachel had to be home. So fortunately, home's not far away, so the chair won't be empty for long. So without any more ado, I want to bring her up. And everybody, do you guys remember Gracie? She is a New Beginnings Kennel alumni, and she looks like she's just plumb tuckered out, doesn't she, Rachel?
Yeah, she does. Poor girl.
Yeah. So, how's she doing at post kennel life?
Honestly, she's doing very, very well. Very well. Better
This is
than what I expected her to do.
this is good. For those of you that remember or that don't know or don't remember Gracie, she has been in rescue for 4 years. Okay.
Yeah.
She came into rescue on my birthday back in 2017. So 10/9/17 is when she came into rescue. Now, in all fairness, she had two surgeries, didn't she? She had
Yeah.
two knee surgeries. So she was in a medical foster, and while she recuperated, and then she came down to the New Beginnings Kennel with us, and
Yeah.
that's where she had been. And when we got her, we learned a little bit up there, and she didn't get along with any animal, did she?
Mm-mm.
No
No,
animal
she did.
whatsoever. And she's worked really hard. Rachel's worked hard with her. I've helped work hard with her, and we're very proud of her. She's come a very long way, hasn't she?
Yeah, she has. Considering the only friend she really had at the kennel was Mikey.
Yeah. And she lives with a cat now too, doesn't she?
Yeah, yeah, she does. She's not close to Jazz like she was with Mikey, but they both tolerate each other. So,
So we can honestly say that she's capable of doing just fine with cats.
yeah, yeah,
And her foster brother lives there too, doesn't he? And she's doing fine with him, isn't she?
yeah, yes, she is doing very well with Austin. They're pretty much two peas in a pod, and they love playing with each other, and they kind of look after each other. I'm not gonna say they're bonded because they do like their space between each other, but they're doing awesome together.
That's good. Yeah, we have a question in the comments. Is she available to be adopted?
Absolutely.
She is available, and there's where you go to read her bio. Now, um, she's pretty slow to warm up to new people, but she's getting
Yes.
better, isn't she?
She is getting better. I do have friends that come over every once in a while. Even though I still have to put her outside, she does not stay at the door, like she did when they first started coming around. So she is
Right.
getting better.
When we first brought her home, she had, well, just like any new peer would, all the new sights and sounds. She had to bark at all of them.
Oh
And
yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah. So, but you know what? She's really settled in, and we have a golf course across the street, and
Hmm.
she wasn't sure what to think about those buggies.
No, she wasn't.
so, so she weighs 100 pounds, doesn't she?
Yeah. Yeah. She's a big girl, but
Yeah.
that's okay. She's got a lot of fluff to her.
Right. We got her birthday that she just had a birthday back in March 6th of 2016.
Yeah.
She's 5 years old already. Man, oh man.
I know. She
But she
certainly
sure
doesn't
is
act like
happy
she's
to
five.
she sure is happy to be in a home though, isn't she?
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's really doing well, and she takes her guarding job very seriously. She loves to guard her backyard.
So the transition from living in a kennel for 4 years to moving into a home went surprisingly well with her.
Yeah, yeah, it did. Even with the first few weeks that she was here, I could tell that she really preferred being in a home than that kennel. So
Yeah, she's had no accidents either, has she?
no, no, not at all. She's not tore anything up. She's hasn't counter surfed. She still likes her crate. You know, she'll go in and sleep in it when she wants, and I have not had any issues with her at all.
Yeah, I'm going to
So
bring Roman up. He's signed on so he can see Gracie too, and have in case he has a question for Gracie. Hi, Roman.
hi,
How you
Roman.
guys doing?
Good.
Good.
So nationalpyr.org is where you go for Gracie. She, her and Mikey were our kennel cat was her and Mikey were a bonded pair, and she tolerates your little black cat very well, huh?
Yeah. It was a little iffy at first. I know she did have one incident where she tried to go after her. But Jazz stood her ground, and ever since then they've been okay. So
That's perfect. All right, this is going to be an interesting show today. It's raining. It's getting ready to rain, so all the dogs are inside. Laura wants to know where she's at.
she's in Springfield, Ohio.
Yes, she is. And so look, we're going to run down the comments real quick. Good afternoon, William. And my Janine and Connie, how you doing? Hi, Kelly. Gracie says hi back. Okay. And
Yes, she does.
and of course, Ashley is in Utah, and she's here. Don't forget Misha. She has Misha out there. And yep, she is available. Sorry, I brought that up already. Yes, Nancy, Gracie is a beautiful girl. And
Yes,
hi,
she is.
Gloria. Oh, they're on the road with Mr. Fluff and Limp, brand new to rescue today. So 2 new dogs just came in at National Great Pyrenees Rescue. So, oh, look at this. Send an application in for Ollie. Hope to hear back soon. Thank you, Angel. That's awesome. And hi, Brenda and Biff and Oxley and Rainey and everybody's doing good. Now, I want to also too. I've got some pretty nice pictures here of Gracie. This is pretty recent too. This was just taken Sunday, I believe, or no, this was taken a couple days ago. This week. These pictures are this week, and she's just gorgeous. All right, and we had somebody on the comments under the scheduler commented on her hairdo.
Her
Gracie is
famous hairdo.
similar. Those folks that have naturally, hang on just a second here. Let me get my little girl ready. Tell her about Gracie's hair. Tell everybody about her hair.
It kind of acts with the climate outside. She does get major bedhead, and it gets frizzy like our hair does when the weather changes. And so
Yeah.
she's got a real nice mane around her neck. So
Yeah, and in this picture, it must have been a humid day, all right?
yeah.
So
I will say when it gets too wild for her, she does get a little bit embarrassed with it.
yeah, I'm gonna go get Miss Sasha here so everybody doesn't start barking. I think Austin's out there barking, and that's what she's barking at. So
yeah, they just started getting Gracie going.
there she is. Come here, little girl. Come on, there's my girl. She's so tiny, you don't even know she's there until you raise her head up.
Right. I will say she still has some little fears that I'm trying to work through her. As far as like her grooming, she's totally afraid of a brush. So I am trying to work with her on that. I do touch and treat reward. So
Roman's got a
she's
suggestion,
getting a little
maybe.
better with that. Yeah.
What food is she on?
She is on the 4 Health salmon.
Does she have any
She has-
allergies?
She has allergies, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
She's
Suggestion
on the
number
seafood.
1: upgrade the food. Welcome to message me on that, because
Okay.
usually what you're trying to do, you try to reinforce positive reinforcement while brushing, but at the same time you have the allergies being against you, so it just feels bad. You're grooming your dog because the skin is already so irritated and sensitive,
Right.
and there are so many nerves in the dog that from touch into directional or pressure or temperature, all these things are around the body. So if you start to brush the dog, that is kind of like, ew. You have done this on a chalkboard, like down. Yeah.
Hmm.
So once you adjust the allergies, then that will be easy case to work with your dog on grooming.
And we've actually got the allergies under, seems to be under control for the last year and a half when we changed her to seafood and sweet potato formula.
Okay.
So her allergy was probably the lamb,
One
the
thing
land
usually
animal
can
protein.
happen in combination with having leaky gut. So you may have eliminated the problem of, the big allergens, but having leaky gut, still protein leaks in the body and still causes
Okay.
allergies. That's why most people go into hydrolyzed protein, so the body doesn't recognize the protein, so it doesn't react to that. But addressing the leaky guts usually address the allergen problems as well.
Gotcha.
So maybe you want to look into that. It's
All
called
right.
leaky gut syndrome. Pretty common for dogs. We just don't know about it, and veterinarians don't really look into that a lot. But that can maybe you're solving your problem.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Now we got some more comments here. Laura wants to know how do we get her here to Georgia if we adopt her? Well, let's get you through the application process and take one step at a time.
Yeah.
Then we go from there. All right. I'm not in the transport end of it. So, whoops. Yeah. Sorry, Greg. She's got some serious blowout. Agreed.
Yeah. Agreed.
But she is, she absolutely is enjoying her one-on-one time with her foster mom. Absolutely. So,
Yeah, she does. She does.
all right. Nationalpeer.org. That's where you go to apply for Gracie. She's in a foster. She doesn't need a foster. So, and there it is right there. Nationalpeer.org. All right. So thank you for coming on, Rachel. Now hurry up and get over here and get your other little girl. You might want to bring Austin in. You might want to bring Austin in because it's going to start raining any minute. Roman knows what rain's all about over in Oregon. So,
yeah.
All right. So, okay, I'm going to take you down, Rachel. So,
okay. Bye, everyone.
There you go. We'll see you in a minute. All right. Cool. So, we nationalpeer.org, you can go with Gracie. Gracie, she was had a real rough start in life. Okay, very rough start through abuse. Okay, and she has come a very long way. We worked very hard with her. So we like to and Laura, to answer this question, with Gracie, you almost have to do introductions first. Okay. So, because she was abused and she has trauma triggers and Roman knows all about that. That's Roman's specialty, is trauma related behavior. So, all right. Speaking of Roman, don't forget to wish Sharon to get well. So I don't know if she's watching or not, but she was very sick last night. So anyway, now we're going to pick up last week where, excuse me, everybody, where Roman had to stay married and take his wife out for her birthday. And hey, I know the feeling. All right. Been there, done that. So, and we've got 3 more questions. Okay. And without Sharon, we don't have talking points anyway. So here we go. And whoops, Sharon, if you're watching, Nancy says to feel better soon.
Yep, feel better.
Okay, now, okay, so let's hit the first question. It says, and by the way, the second question, I have more to add to it now. I've been in communication with email on the second question. So, do you have your screen up on the? Okay.
But I'm wearing my glasses, so.
Gotcha. Well, I've got it on that Word document. It says, how do you train your Pyr not to lunge at every dog you pass on your daily walks? She says, I know they're just guarding me, but it's distressing for the other dogs and their owners.
Okay, so first of all, there must be an incident the very first time where he got kind of badly treated by another dog on that walk. So it seems to me it's a trauma response to start with. It could be very early age that suddenly the dog feels not to trust other dogs who are on a leash, or he actually is afraid of being on the leash. So his response to react is a feedback of him not being able to do anything else. I see many times people are forcing the dog into direction instead of not recognizing the signs where the dog wants to walk away from it. And I know that sometimes we are kind of trapped in a pathway. Well, we have to be aware that sometimes you have to go in the other direction, and sometimes you have to go back to the place where you can go on the side. It's kind of like being a big truck and you cannot go further. So you have to go all the way back, finding a spot so you can pull in. So first of all, you have to recognize your dog's very subtle avoidance behaviors. Meaning is the dog stops moving, the dog's hackles go up, his face changes, he gets tense. And at the same time, I would like you to pay attention the way you wrap your leash up. Okay? And these are the signals that you give your dog that we are getting into trouble situations, and we are start getting tense about it, and we actually start choking the dog or confining the dog, leaving no way out other than aggression. So step number one, I would say understand the dog's threshold. We have under threshold, we have at threshold, and we have over threshold. In other words, to explain, in the house where it's nice and cozy warm, you're under threshold. At the door, if you open it, you are at threshold. You can make a choice going back or forth, okay? Over threshold, you're outside naked, freezing your butt off. So imagine that your dog being at threshold, he's already dealing with the situation. And if that is the case, we need to find out those signals that tells the dog before he gets into that situation. You need to establish a secure attachment relationship. The dog needs to trust you, and your dog needs to understand the commands that you give into him. Come, let's go, meaning is you walk with me in the same direction into safety. Other things that happen, yes, the dog may show you're guarding you. It's because you get tense. And doesn't mean you are tense, but maybe the signal you're sending your dog is that you're tense. And usually that happens if you wrap up the leash. I would like you to think about what other options do you have. And if that's the case that your dog had a previous experience with another dog, then we're dealing with trauma. So we have to address that first. And sometimes it happens that we are the reason of that trauma without actually knowing it, because we forced the dog into a situation to meet something that he didn't like and he didn't feel comfortable about. Also, the dog's age plays a big role, especially age around 6 and 8 or 12 months. There are so many triggers around that. So the dog is going out from his, being not so outgoing into start being and applying his breed traits. So now we have an overlapping of fear, second fear phase, fear of strange things, and we have being fight drive versus before we had flight drive. So, and then all these combinations come in. So depending on which age your dog is he going into fight drive? Is he going into flight drive? Is he going through a strange situation experience? That always affects how the dog responds to that environment. And then we have to make clear that it's not usually your dog's fault if other dogs are rude, because some dogs just don't respect your dog and it'll just come up. And he's a guardian breed. New things are triggering your dog. That's a breed trait. So we need to educate the dog that different things have good outcomes. It only starts with showing him really how good outcomes it has walking away from it. So instead of letting your dog interact with dogs because you don't want to be embarrassed, totally okay to walk away from your dog, teaching your dog that walking away is an option.
Absolutely. Thank you. Actually says that that's 100% true. It's always me that reacts. Then Misha reads me. Ugh, I need impulse control training. So,
Yep. Happy to work with that. Usually
Yeah.
it takes about an hour or two until we get everything settling. You will see how easy the dog responds once he recognizes that you are paying attention to your dog's emotion, and your feedback helps your dog emotion to calm down.
Yeah. Okay. The next question. Now this was the one that was the one-line question. This is the one I have more information now. Okay. She can't be here right now because she had to pick her husband up at the airport. So the question, the way it was written was, why can't I get my Pyrenees to come when called? Okay. Well, needless to say, there's not enough information to answer a question. So to add to that, she wrote to an email that the dog's name is Emma. She's 8-month-old pure Pyrenees. She has been spayed. She opened the door on her own once because it had not been shut completely. And that was when they were bringing in groceries. The next time she darted past our 2 other dogs who will sit until we tell them it's okay to go out. If I call her back, she ignores me, apparently from the outside. She will keep moving away from me when I walk toward her. I believe she thinks it's a game. I got so annoyed with her that I turned my back on her. Then she came back close enough for me to get her collar. The other time she was coaxed to come after I gave my other 2 dogs treats.
Okay.
So the dog darted out from the door. And once she's out, she wants to play keep away, it sounds like. Only it's not necessarily a game with the dog, is it, Roman?
Right. Very, very good point. I want people to remember, I'm not saying directly to this person who wrote the email, but I like to remember how many times have we yelled at the dog for walking away from us while the dog basically came back to us. Why didn't you listen to me? I told you so many times to come back. You're not coming back to me. It's kind of like with our children, we expect them to clean up the room, and then they actually do it. And instead of saying, you know what, I so appreciate you for cleaning the room, we yell at them, why didn't you do it earlier? It's kind of like weird, right? So we have to recognize the dogs naturally follow. All you have to do is walk away from them, and they will like, where are you going? But if we go in with bad intentions, angry and frustrated, behaving like a predator towards a guardian breed, the only thing you will get is avoidance. And then we have to remember that every time we call that dog, what's going to happen next? Come inside, go to your crate, come inside. The dog has fun up there. So how about we teach the dog that coming inside is fun too? It's not only punishment, because if a dog has fun outside and you confine him, and it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It just could happen that the house is too warm. So you have a Pyrenees who has no problem being in minus 20 degrees. Being in your house with 70 degrees can be overheating. Okay? Sometimes the dog not being groomed or having inflammation, or his foot is energetically too hot, like hot food, and when the dog is a hot dog at the same place, then that can cause overheating. The dog tries to stay outside instead of inside. So we have to see that many environmental factors makes the dog not wanting to come to you, because every time you call your dog, he doesn't feel good about it. So we have to add that to the equation. Sometimes we have poisoned or make our commands toxic. We use the dog's name for different things. Name that, name this, the dog has to figure out what it is. And then we add come to the equation. It's actually because the dog didn't follow up the first time, we kind of get angry and yell at him the 3rd and 4th time. So the dog actually start counting. How many times does she has to yell at me, and how frustrated does he has to get for me to come, right? And so all these things do play consideration. So first of all, change the word to something different. And here's an exercise you can do to kind of help you out here. Go into your yard, get a couple of treats, put them in your treat bag, for you guys who don't know what a treat bag is, looks like this. You can just stick your finger in it, and there are treats in it. And it's not the plastic bag that make a plastic noise. You just carry it with you very secretly so the dog doesn't see it. It's kind of like your secret. You can use regular treats, freeze-dried treats, something that's not so yucky and gluey on your hands. And maybe you have that kind of treats in your pockets. The dog doesn't need to know about it, and start walking away from your dog. Usually what I would do is walk backwards. So as you walk backwards, your dog is going, what are you doing? Like, I got something for you. And he comes up to you while you're walking backwards. Reward that. So walking backwards, making the distance bigger, your dog is attracted to come closer. You basically speaking, you create separation anxiety. Yes, you heard right, separation anxiety. So the dog tries to cover the separation anxiety by coming up to you. You call that come. So as much as you feel weird if I say the word shark and you're like, ew, if you say the word come, the dog wants you to come closer. And then you reward the dog for approaching. The next thing you do is to create that sensation of coming and turn it into let's go. So from coming, you make a turn 180 degrees and then reward the dog for being next to you, right? And then what you do is you walk into the house or you walk into your yard. You do things. While you can lure your dog in the beginning, but inside the house, I would like you to do some exercises. Yes? She wants to play?
No. Sometimes.
Okay. So the next time, what you want to do is start having some games in the house. Games that the dog has fun with. Place different treats if you have only one dog. Place different treats around the house and let your dog find them. You call that, go find it. Now, if your dog comes to back in, you tell him, go find it. And you have placed already all these super yummy treats in your house. And then finally, once he finds all treats, then he has a jackpot, which is something that he can chew on. Yes, he can have a daily chew. I have 99-cent chews. There are no hides, and they're not meat-based, so they are plant-based. And my dog has fun with it. So ask him to go in his crate, ask him to come inside. He's coming running because he knows exactly he's going to lose something if he doesn't. So instead of making that experience a punishment, it should be a reward.
Absolutely. Thank you. Let's address that one real quick. First of all, that sounds like
Hold on a second. I don't see it.
Oh,
If a dog nips at your heels, can you stop them for doing that? Yes, of course. The question is, how old is the puppy? Puppy. Did I say puppy? Well, how do I know it's a puppy kind of thing? So how old is the dog? And the next question is, when is he doing that? The third question is, what have you done so far? And the fourth question is, what is your dog's enrichment other than him getting the word no or pushing him away?
Yep.
Waiting for that response because it's important to give you the right answer.
Yep.
I like your questions, by the way. Thank you so much.
yes. And you were right. Dog's a puppy. Year and a half old.
Okay.
I'm assuming he's a Great Pyrenees.
Okay. And when did this start?
And we're waiting for that response. And in the meantime,
Explain that usually dog breed traits enter the reality between 14 and 16 weeks of age. So the dog breed traits come in. So what happens with those breed traits is the genetic code basically adjusted itself according to environmental factors. So if I encourage the dog to bite, that becomes a bite dog or kind of, let's call it a herding dog. Herding dogs usually bite to control. And guarding dogs, of course, do that too, but it comes in from a perspective to bite, control through biting. So if that happens with your puppy 14 months old, 12 to 14 weeks old, we need to disengage and making sure that the puppy is not encouraged to bite. What was that? I was told I couldn't handle him. I was trying to adopt him and that he was a bolder Okay,
So-
I'm a little
so
confused about
apparently-
the answer because I don't see where this coming with the ankle
Yeah.
biting.
I don't think she has the dog,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. but
Well, usually those dogs who have these kind of behaviors, sometimes it happened because they were adopted too early out of the litter.
right.
And so they don't have a moral and ethical compass straight. They don't understand that their behaviors affect others. So we have to go through kind of a moral and ethical adjustment period where the dog recognizes that his actions do affect themselves
Yep.
if they affect negatively the environment. It can happen very often. The dogs removed too early from the litter or having coming from a hoarding situation will be neglected, and so those educations are missing. So the dog just do whatever works best for him, and biting just works fine.
Before we get to the last question, I want to address Betty. Hi, Betty, in Washington State. And she's watching us on YouTube. Thank you for watching us on YouTube. We have an affiliate rescue that you can, and they're in Washington State also. It's Great Pyrs and Paws Rescue.
Yep.
So the website is greatpyrsandpaws.org, Betty, and they just might be able to help you out there. And a lot of times, some of them are watching on the show. If Ann's watching, she'll respond. Okay, and okay, you've been emailing them this morning, so that's a good thing. And but Ann or Jill or Juliet or somebody could be watching the show, and they could respond to you. But yeah, don't lose hope. But they are up in Washington, so. And thank you for watching our show too. Okay, pay close attention to Roman. You can learn a lot of stuff here. So we're going to go on to the last question. And this one's a little bit of a long one, but it's good because it's got information. So she says she has two female 1.5-year-old Pyrs from the same litter. They're litter mates. They recently showed aggression towards us for the first time. They got into it first a couple of days ago when they have shown aggression towards the cats with food. Okay, so apparently the cats walk too close to their food bowl. Okay, now, but we feed them in the crates, which resolve the issue. So okay.
No, it doesn't resolve the issue.
It doesn't resolve.
It just put it on ice.
Puts a Band-Aid on it.
Right.
But now they're showing aggression towards not just the cats, but us as well. I'm concerned that this will get worse. And
Yes,
I want
it
to
will.
be able to stop it before it does. I'm unable to tune into the live due to work and school, so email is my only way to ask at this moment. Thank you for your time, Stephanie.
Okay, Stephanie. I have the feeling that the way you responded about the dogs behaving around the cats actually backfired, and your response seemed to be more aggressive than the cats. So now the dog, every time you approach to address the issue, he sees you already as a predatory behavior, and he will respond fearfully aggressive. So that redirected aggression is not towards you in particular, but towards your handling. And I know you meant well because you need to protect the cats, but the dogs were at that point the victims. The cats were just, taking advantage of it. And as a guardian breed, you have a natural guarding behavior, right? So the question is, how do we handle that guarding behavior? We have to educate the dog that there are guarding behaviors that are tolerated and other ones are not. And in order to explain that to the dog, you cannot just punish the dog or yell at your dog or taking things away from your dog, because all it does, it makes things worse. We have to educate the dog that me coming up has a positive outcome, and I'm not here a threat. I'm here a giver, not a taker. So I think there are many things that are miscommunicated between you and your dog. And I will respond to your email, and I think we should keep everybody safe. And I think that's a priority, that you are not going down the dark road and start correcting and punishing your dog. And I know many people who will resort consulting a compulsive or balanced trainer to address that issue will basically create a meltdown. And for those people who say, oh, it's a litter mate syndrome, syndrome doesn't exist. Syndrome is not In any scientific paper you research about littermate syndrome, you will not find that word because it doesn't actually exist. However, I know that many people consider dogs littermates. They love each other, they play with each other all day, but basically we miss the part of parenting. And so we educate the dog that we are ignoring them, so they create their own rules. And then all of a sudden, when they're old enough, those rules go against us, or they don't have morals and ethic filters, and all of a sudden, then they have to troubleshoot the situation which they have not been educated with. All of a sudden, that aggression is not being under control because there's nobody there to regulate it, and therefore we have an issue. But that happens regular with all the dogs. Doesn't have to be littermates to happen. That happens usually with dogs where the parenting is kind of like comes in second.
Yeah. I'll send you her email, Roman.
Yeah, that would be, yeah.
You actually have it on that document from last week.
Gotcha.
All right. Now, and we absolutely, Sarah, we have time to ask Roman. That's what this is about. Ask the trainer. Our 8-year-old Pyr loves other dogs, but the other dogs don't always appreciate his long, nosy inspection when they are first introduced.
Okay. I got a solution for you. Very simple. We call it the 3-second rule. So educate your dog that everything that happens for 3 seconds in duration. So use your husband, your partner, your child, your neighbor as a, help them, give them some treats. And the first thing that you have to teach your dog is that he has to go with you at the same speed and same direction. So it's basically leash training. We're going to use the leash for that. And we're going to teach the dog that the only way to get towards the point of meeting would be at the same speed, at the same pace with you next to each other. And then the next thing he has to learn is when you stop, he stops. When you move, he moves. If you make a U-turn, he makes a U-turn. So basically do as I do, kind of, sort of. And the next thing we have to teach the dog is that we do things for 3 seconds. 3 seconds to do things. So we go in, we get things, we're out. So greeting procedure. Your dog comes up, you stop, he stops, he sits, he looks up to you, he gets a treat from you, and then you say, let's go meet, and the dog meets the person. The person gives the dog a treat, then the dog walks away with the person, the dog gets from his partner another treat. So what we teach the dog is the idea of going, getting, and leaving in a period of time. And you can basically count it down in 3, 2, 1, let's go. And start creating that routine consistently to pretty much everything. That will teach the dog that things last a period of time and the body starts stopping that process of connecting. So when we see a dog connect with each other, they kind of go into an emotional short relationship. They connect and disconnect. Some dogs don't have that sensitivity because there is no regulation or factor. So when they connect, they become obsessive about it. Obsessive smelling, obsessive playing, obsessive biting, obsessive sniffing, and all these things, right? So if we see this kind of obsession, it's because there is an insecurity that if I don't do more than that, I don't get enough. So that can have different other issues that I don't know. A consultation would be very helpful so I can better understand the behavior history. But in general, doing the 3-second rule do a lot of improvement on these kind of things. And then you want to teach the dog with a dummy dog. You can get a fake dog, set him up, and start rewarding the dog if the dog starts sniffing in the butt instead of going into the face. So 3-second approach. We go on, we sit, we check in with me, you go meet, 1, 2, 3, let's go. And reward on your way away. So the dog makes that see that this is a game. Now, if the dog goes straight to the face, you redirect your dog, pushing him away basically with your walk. Don't physically push him, just walk away from the dog and do another approach and go to the butt and reward that event. So basically what we create a rewardable behavior. We create a rewardable greeting process, and then we make that a ritual. So no matter what your dog meets you, your friends, your husband, your kids, the dog should know that things have a very short duration and then things are interrupted.
Yes. Okay. Roman's email is up. It's roman@holisticdogtraining.org. Am I allowed to ask a question, Roman?
Yeah, sure.
Well, better. Well, actually, it's going to be a heads up. And this could be something that other people can listen to too. we have one of our fosters. All right. The dog's name is Nana. Okay. And the foster mom, her youngest daughter, they were driving down the road. Nana was in the car, and the daughter had a seizure.
Ouch.
With Nana in the back seat. All right. Now, it's not an ongoing medical issue. There was a wheel that came off of somebody's truck. They swerved. Everything happened so quickly. They missed. There was no accident, but the daughter's excitement, she had a seizure. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Nana has now bonded with this young lady very tightly. And and I was going to work with them, but this is beyond my expertise. So heads up. It's the separation anxiety they're dealing with now.
Okay.
So the dog always had some. Okay.
Yeah,
But now
let me explain a few things. As a guardian breed, we have to recognize that dogs have an understanding of as is condition. So their breed quality is, I recognize the situation I'm in and is consistent. And then suddenly we have something that's inconsistent and suddenly out of nowhere happens, that will trigger the dog. Now, if we see a service dog who does basically medical alert dog, and I think we should go in that direction in that case, to consider that when recognizing that the child has a difficulty, if the stressors kick in, then she's having a seizure, then we need to teach the dog what to do with it. Because the last thing we want is a dog having separation anxiety because he feels the need that he has to be with the child because of this pre-existing experience that he had that he needs to guard because that is a vulnerable situation. And the point that eventually the dog can resource guard that child towards the parents. Mm-hmm. So we need to kind of a little bit be proactive and teach the dog what to do in those kind of situations. And sometimes if the child is willing to help that game, creating those seizures for the dog, not creating like really having seizures, but pretending to have seizures, so the dog can learn what to do with them. And eventually the dog recognize that before the seizure happens, eventually the dog shows a behavior that we can take as an alarm, and that becomes a medical alert dog.
Yes.
Or a seizure alert
dog.
The
only seizure that this young girl has had, I think she's 14. And but doesn't mean it's the last one she'll ever have.
Right.
Because she did have one. And now this is a foster. This dog is a foster dog. So, but we're going to send her over to you, I think. And because I've formed an opinion and I want to see if yours coordinates with mine. And,
okay, sure.
So I can learn too. And hopefully I can be involved in a session.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
anyway.
I have many people who do online training. And, they get referred by rescues or other trainers, and they all join the session or have availability.
Yeah. And we have before. So Ashley said that was very helpful. It always is. If it wasn't helpful, Roman wouldn't be on, Ashley.
You guys have better things to do and doing things that don't really help.
And the good, I can say that because she's in Utah. She's got a long drive to kick my butt. All right. So, but anyway, so wow, those were some good answers. I don't see any more questions right now. And
I can share in a short experience that I had in the past. There was I think we talked in the past. Maybe if I repeat myself, just let me know. There was a guy in Florida who called me because he wanted to get rid of his dog, and his dog was aggressive and started biting him all the time. And so asking a couple of questions, we found out that his dog is biting him pretty much in the afternoon, more likely, and usually the days he's working a lot. And so we kind of turned the whole situation around of him surrendering the dog to the rescue, him actually keeping the dog as an emotional support dog and medical alert dog because he was helping the person recognizing when he got into a manic depression state.
Yeah, that's right. And that's one of my roles with rescue is to keep the dogs in their home. Okay?
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. A rescue is not just taking in dogs. It's not a receiving facility. It's actually helping the dog stay safe.
Yep.
Now, where that safe is, that's an different question. Can the rescue support the home, the dog to remain in this house, which means the dog will never go into the rescue system? That's great. Is the dog necessary to go into foster care instead of going into the kennel? That's awesome. That's exactly great. Now, if the dog goes to the kennel, how quickly can he get out? So the rescue has a lot of work to do, and the reason why I'm working with National Great Pyrenees Rescue and PAWS and Pyrs and PAWS Rescue and Michigan and all these national rescues is because all these rescues have one thing in common. They do things for the dogs. They do things for people. It's not just, taking donations and priding themselves as adopting all the dogs out without actually looking closely into the statistics. From my perspective, you guys have the lowest return rates, and that tells a lot, especially for a guardian breed like a Pyrenees dog, considering that a shelter, usually considering like a shelter in Austin, Texas, with 8,000 adoptions a year, they have 10% return rates. So we need to see those numbers.
Hi, Kim. You remember Kim? Roman, Kim is the one that has Noah, the one few weeks back or more than a few weeks that couldn't get near the car.
Okay, what happened back then?
So yes, Kim, we got time, so we'll wait on her response. All right. And then just to give you people a little bit of background, Noah was afraid of the car. Roman actually on the show talked her through it. Noah got to the car, got into the car, and then we had a problem. He didn't want to come out of the car. So they got that straightened out.
now we show them Santa. Now he wants all his Christmas, right?
Yeah. Now he goes up, but still will not go down.
Good. That's a simple reason why the dogs have hard time getting out of the car is because we have to see the concept of the dog getting out of the car.
This is the stairs, Roman. I think this is the stairs.
Right. It's the dog has to put his weight on his front legs. All the body weight has to go down. That's the one thing. The second thing that can happen, the dog has a visual impairment. He doesn't see three-dimensional. He only can see two-dimensional. So the dog doesn't have a height perception. So one thing that I would suggest you to do is if that's a ramp, like a slope ramp, it's good. If it's a stairs, that might be a problem. So I would recommend to test the ramp instead of staircases, just in case the dog doesn't have the concept of going on and off the stairs because there is no depth. Sometimes the collar makes a problem. So what I usually do is adding a collar when to have those different. Sometimes those stairs have same color. Try to change colors so the dog can see where he's stepping on. Stairs are funny with going down. Yeah, right. So I don't know if you guys have ever problems going the staircase. I had a broken leg once, and it was really, really difficult to navigate my legs around my mind, how to get down, making different steps. So we have the dog recognize the dog doesn't have steps in his real life. He has even jumps on or jumps off. Stepping is not a part of it. And you have to recognize the dog has to coordinate three legs at the same time while being in a confined space. He has no other way out. And sometimes the way the cars are set and the door, the way they're opening, the dog has to reposition himself and going around the corner to get outside. It's kind of like you trying to back up in a parking lot with a trailer kind of situation. So sometimes we have to see our way. We're blocking the dog to go outside. So sometimes I recommend have the dog sit on the front seat, disengage the ABS, the airbag, and make the dog comfortable in the front seat because the door opens wider than the back seat.
She said she carpeted him with removable mats. She can buy 2 different colors.
Yeah. But a video will help me a lot so I can see which moment the dog struggles. So if your dog tries to do this with his head, meaning is he tried to have a different perception of it, or the dog makes the first step but doesn't continue doing the step, could be that the dog has a joint issue or inflammation on his front chest. Sometimes the dog can have neck issues on the I missed the name right now, where he has issues with his neck and have this thickness. Maybe an adjustment will help so the dog can do freely movements. There's a lot of things going on going downhill. So I don't want to tell you like try yourself going downhill with your legs, like going like a dog in and out of the dog, so you can see all the problems that happen there. But a video will help me a lot to see what's going on. Yeah. Perfect.
Now, do you want her to email you the video, Roman?
Yeah, that would be great.
Here's Roman's email right there. So, and
And
everybody
I do need to
else can see
apologize
Roman's.
to anybody who tried to reach out to me on Messenger.
Mhm.
I got through the COVID, so many people message me. And it's not kind of like, I'm not really proud of it, but what happens is messages come in, they go all the way down overnight. And since we are in East Coast and the West Coast, and there are people from the East Coast, if I get 10 emails in the morning and another 5 emails at noon and another 5 emails in the afternoon, I may miss the first or second email. So if you try to reach out to me and I'm not responding in 24 hours, don't give up hope. Just give it another shot.
That's right. So, but Roman's got a very good point, because we see a lot of times the dogs can go right up the stairs and then they're stuck.
Yeah,
They can't come back down.
I have a dog. We don't say any names, Stephen, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm up here. I didn't know to go down.
All right. Okay. Holisticdogtraining.org. www. That's Roman's website. There's a ton of information on there, just like a ton of behavior information with the holistic approach. Okay. And just like nationalpyr.org, there's a lot of information about the breed. Okay. And Roman's holisticdogtraining.org, there's a lot of information about the guardian breed behavior. Okay. That's Roman's specialty, is the guardian breeds.
Actually, I did a video today about that. I gotta have a rant. So
Okay.
15 minutes long. You're gonna hear some rants going on, but
Yeah.
I was talking about Pyrenees, aggression, about barking, and about resource guarding.
It's not unusual for a guardian breed to guard their resources.
Yeah, right. It's like complaining cops for being an officer.
Yeah. And Kim says that she recommends you all the time on Facebook, as well
thank
as
you.
GPR. Thank you, Kim. And we had, I think it was in our NGPR message board. Barbara sent somebody to you through the NGPR message board too. So anyway, everybody, thanks. And I want to show everybody something too. Roman, I'm going to assume you got a session coming up in about 7 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and let you back down in the green room so you can go if you want. So bye, Roman. Thank you again. All right. So we got just a few minutes left, and I just wanted to show off a couple of things here that is up and coming. If you remember last week, I showed you the dual camera system I had that I was setting up. What do you think of our background this time around? Okay, we're just playing around with things. We can get rid of the logo, and the water's too cold to go swimming because there's still snow on the mountains. Okay, but the cool part about this is we're not limited to just that. That is, everybody, for those of you that remember George from the kennel, right?
Mr. Attila.
His real name was Attila. That's Rachel working with him out in the big play yard. Mm-hmm. And we don't have to just show pictures on our green screen. It can be videos. Okay. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so we can get rid of that. We can go back here and here. But we got all kind of stuff in the works to get our show up and coming here, a little more exciting. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I think I saw a question come in. Sarah has a weird question. Roman's gone, but how important is it to have a mixed breed DNA tested to help better know the dog's instincts? Okay. Well, if you want to test your dog, but the dog will tell you the dog's instincts. Okay. All you have to do is listen to your dog. Okay. So a DNA test is, if you want to know what your dog's mixed with, that's always a good way to find out. Yeah. Now, they're not 100% perfect, but it's a good way to find out. And Embark also has a section where you can check certain genetic markers for disease too. So I mean, I'm not downgrading a DNA test in any way, shape, or form. We've done them too. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do one or Rachel's going to do one on this little thing right here, because I think she's a Kuvaz. All right. And so does a little phone app called Dog Scanner. Mm-hmm. It thinks she's a Kuvaz too. So, and yeah, it's really not that big of a setup. Here's something I'll show everybody that you've never seen before. There's how we're talking to you right there. Right. And I think I've turned the lighting off. We've got all kind of lights and stuff up here, and just a regular old studio. Let's see. Can we share anything about Oliver? Yeah. He's moved to Ohio, and I'm not sure if he has an appointment yet. Okay. If you want, we can give you an update next week. Okay. Now, speaking of next week, we got us a really good show coming up next week. As Ed Sullivan used to say, a really good shoe coming up next week. I'm so excited about it. I made a promotional video, and I'm going to play it for y'all. Okay. So here's the promotional video for our featured dog next week. There you go. So keep your eyes open for that video. All right, Michael. I heard that. But so Ollie is going to be on next week. He hasn't been on in about 5-6 weeks now. I had to show Nancy's comment, didn't I? Mm-hmm. But so keep an eye open for that. May 1st is Ollie. We get to find out if he ever moved for the vacuum cleaner. All right. If not, there's probably a fur patch in his shape on her carpet there. Yeah. All right. But Lori Oliver, I was involved with that, getting him in too. So on the phone anyway. But yeah, he's in Columbus near MedVet, and I'm not sure when his appointment is, but I'll try to find out and let you know next week. Now, Ashley makes a very valid comment. Up in the description of the show today, I wrote the reviews are starting to come in on the cookbook, and they've got a spring auction that starts next weekend. I don't have information on that, Ashley. Every time I tried to call Carol, she was busy or driving or saving a dog or something. You know, that's what Great Pyrenees Rescue of Montana does. Mm-hmm. So if you can post something in the comments, that would be great. But if you want to donate to their spring auction, get a hold of Ashley. That's what I remember from last week. And the cookbook. Okay. They have a cookbook that our own president of NGPR bought it, and she loves it. She said it's an amazing cookbook, and sounds like Sasha loves it too. Oh, she hasn't seen it yet. I may have shown her a picture. So let me get back up here to this, and somewhere I've got a banner for the cookbook too. I don't know what I did with it. Greg, help us out. There it is. There's where you go for the cookbook, theblurb.com. But what I will do is I will post it in the comments again. Tell you what, it sounds like this cookbook is something you're going to want to get. I'm hearing a lot from 3 different people now that this thing's just simply amazing. All right. So let me get this cookbook posted for you. And there it is on 6 different pages. So now, so they got the auction. GPPR, Great Pyrs and Paws Rescue's got an auction coming up soon too. We're broadcasting to we're streaming to their page also. So Great Pyrs and Paws Rescue has an auction coming up. Great Pyrenees Rescue of Montana has an auction coming up. And so there you go. For the GPPR folks, it's right here where you're watching on their page. For the Montana folks, it's right here where you're watching for their page. Mm-hmm. And for the YouTube folks and everybody else, it's Dog or Nothing. We I don't know if you guys, this is a site that you guys want to check on the Facebook page and their website. It's Dog or Nothing, everything Great Pyrenees. A lot of information there. All right. and they're affiliated with Great Pyrenees Rescue of Montana and National Great Pyrenees Rescue. So it's Dog or Nothing. We also streaming to their page. So anyway, we're out of time. We're running a little bit into overtime. And Michael, you were right last week, by the way. It was the same song. I meant to say I changed the pictures. Okay. And Nancy Sue got hers relatively quickly. All right. So, and give us a review on that too. So anyway, we're going to call it a day. And don't forget, Ollie's going to be here next week. And Sharon will hopefully be back. Hopefully flu doesn't last longer than 7 days. That would really be bad for her. So anyway, everybody, bye.
Bye,
Thank you
everyone.
for joining us.